that, Julia Shege, she is a political analyst, and Honorable Geoffrey Ruko, Member of Parliament, Mbeere North. Now, we begin.
Chacha, is not right for Professor to say that President William Ruto uses county resources to tour different counties. That's not true. That's not factual.
We actually now get into these. Yesterday, John Mbadi, Treasury Cabinet Secretary, John Mbadi, who was the former ODM chairman, had a homecoming. Just, of course, a few days ago, we also had the Cooperatives Cabinet Secretary, that is Wycliffe Oparanya, also having a same event graced by President William Ruto, and earlier on, Opiyo Wandayi, former minority leader of the National Assembly, who is now, of course, the Energy Cabinet Secretary, also had a homecoming ceremony. What are these homecoming ceremonies? Honorable Geoffrey Ruko, just to begin with that, when you won, how much did you spend for your homecoming ceremony?
I did not have any homecoming ceremony.
Have you attended others?
I have not attended any homecoming ceremony myself for anybody. But also I did not have any homecoming ceremony because I was directed by the people of Mbeere North to, with an agenda. I started implementing that agenda immediately.
Now for the cabinet secretaries.
So it depends from one politician to the other. Probably that is the way Mbadi does his things. And probably that's how he get elected in Luo Nyanza. I don't know, and I don't want to comment in that. But the point which I wanted to make, Chacha, is that President William Ruto uses his budget which is allocated by the National Assembly every year, and one of the key allocation is to conduct his official duties across the country. Is well facilitated using military choppers, okay? So there is nowhere that President of Kenya will ask County A to support his movement across the country. There is nowhere.
Where?
And if there is such a report, that's a fake report. And whoever ordered that such kind of a report is a quack, is a street rumamonga, okay? So there is nothing like that.
Well,
and it is going to tell Kenyans the truth. You know, sometimes, even if you hate someone so much,
so you don't see any issue with these homecomings?
As far as the homecoming are concerned, it depends from one person to the other. Well, as far as Mbadi is concerned, if he saw it fit to have his own homecoming, he can use his own resources. He's not a poor guy, okay? He's not using government resources. How do you know? I know he's not using government resources. You can't use government resources to have your own homecoming. And if he's using government resources to conduct homecoming ceremony, that is extremely, you know, banned. Is unethical. It should not be done. And if there is a proof of resources used for government resources used for a cabinet secretary to have a homecoming, then it's a case which should be investigated, and if there is evidence, prosecuted.
Prof. Fred Ogola, yesterday was on Thursday. Most of us, if you're to visit your rural homes, you'll do it on a weekend when it's not a work day. While John Mbadi perhaps was to report with the National Treasury to attend to, you know, matters economy, we are not doing so well as a country. Yeah. He accompanied the president for a 4-day tour. You know, it will end tomorrow. Today is on a Friday, so this is the 3rd day. But for the 2 days, of course, he has been in the village. Yeah. Coming to office at a time that Professor Njuguna Ndung'u exited with very serious challenges economically. First of all, where do we get this time to even go home and organize homecoming ceremonies? And the cost implication of the same.
Yeah. So first of all, let me tell my brother here that do you know how many billboards John Mbadi raised to welcome William Ruto to Homa Bay? They're all over the place. So these billboards are at what cost? Why do you need a billboard so that the president can see saying, I've been welcomed to Homa Bay? if you are a head of state, why should you tell us you are the head of state? We know. Like I was telling you earlier, if I'm the head of the family in my house, I don't have to shout on TV that I'm the head of the family. In fact, if I say in front of my wife and children that you know I'm the head of the family, it already shows I'm not. So these are all paraphernalia which are not necessary to me. Let's just go to tell you, I said it earlier, the president misread the mood of the country. The problem we had that we raised, that's why we went to the street, was economic, leadership and accountability. It was not political. So by rushing to appoint leaders from Luo Nyanza or ODM and make them CSS, he was selecting campaign managers, not actually executives to execute. Because there was a hurry to pass them through parliament, appoint them, then they are sworn in. Then the most thing was to rush to the counties and start campaigning for him. Now you heard even Junet saying, now Mr. President, this is where Raila wins the election. I mean, those are unnecessary. We are 3 years, more than 3 years away from the election. These Kenyans went to an election to elect a president and a government to serve them. The passports are not being printed, IDs are not coming by, healthcare is in a crisis, education system, look at what is now happening there in the education system. Teachers want to go on strike. The most emergent thing for Mbadi was to sit in that office and come with an economic policy to turn around the economy, not going back there. And let me point something very serious about the ones for energy. You are aware that yesterday and the day before, there was a summit, US-Kenya, or US-Africa summit on nuclear energy readiness assessment taking place at Movenpick. I went and looked through the guest list, my brother. There was no speaker from Kenya. The president was supposed to open that workshop on Tuesday, but they were busy with Raila's occasion in State House, which is not bad because the president can send people. I've always gone to occasion where the president has someone reading a speech on their behalf. He could simply send someone. And the worst part, my brother, is this. Can you imagine that there was no Kenyan speaker, there's no Kenyan energy expert, the MC was from Ghana, the person who was doing videography, photography, stationaries were printed and brought from Ghana, and yet you are saying young people need to work and get a job. I felt sad and I felt ashamed as a Kenyan. So these people are not interested to really serve Kenyans. The president is thinking that the problem of Kenya is political. It's not political. The problem of Kenya is economic, because I'm ending by saying this. Please just give me a little, just 1 minute. Let me tell you what, even if Jesus Christ was to become the president of Kenya and do not fix the economic problem, they'll say Jesus must go. Because you cannot say you are Jesus Christ and people can't eat. Remember the feeding of 5,000 people. Jesus saw the 5,000 people coming to him, they were hungry, and he gave them food, isn't it? So we have fathers, when we are having hunger, like let's say, we ask for bread, they give us stone, isn't it? We ask for fish, they give us snake. That's why they continue arresting us, beating, harassing, abducting, shooting, killing, maiming, when we are just saying people are poor and economic problems need to be solved. So according to me, the president just needs to focus on the economic solution. Campaigns are too early. 2027, he can guarantee me that he might not see the office if this is the trend he's taking.
Julia,
yes.
In your estimation, how much will the homecoming ceremony cost? I understand nowadays even it's hard for young people to even, just have weddings because of the cost implication. I mean, a tent accommodating even 1,000 people will cost millions. Half a million. The high-end vehicles, if you are to hire or fuel the guzzlers. And for instance, in Nyanza, 13 choppers or more than 13 choppers were seen, heading there. Are we, or is the President William Ruto-led executive rubbing it on burdened taxpayers' faces with the choppers, guzzlers, and state-of-the-art ceremonies?
Unfortunately, I saw those homecomings, and I've seen several, and I've not attended any, and I've been invited in several. The reason is, I wonder if today I'm the member of Parliament Kangema, where I had vied, and I take a homecoming party there, and we use about 10, 20 million. Yet we have people there who are dying of terminal illnesses like cancer. We have children who are not going to school because their parents cannot afford school fees. We have people who are sleeping hungry. So what am I trying to tell the people? I think the opulence that goes along with some of these positions, I think is what they want to portray to us. And I don't advocate for it because it shows some arrogance, it shows some mutadu, you know. And I want to speak myself into the issues that Gen Z raised. And they are very pertinent issues, you know. And they are saying it's not about politics. They are tribalists, they are partyless, they don't belong to any place. But it's also unfortunate for them, and I want to talk to them right now. Most of them do not have identification cards. Most of them, they don't have voters card. I don't know whether it is the government interest not to give them that, to issue them with ID cards so that they don't vote 2027. I think the Gen Zs now, you need to look into that. As I always call myself Mother Gen Z, because I have Gen Zs in my house, I think that is what they need to do. But I think let's go back to the issue of this, you know, the functions that are called homecomings. It's like, you didn't have a home or what? Or what are you trying to tell us? So I think it's politics. It is politics playing, and it's a lot of public resources wasted because we saw them with government vehicles going there. It's on a weekday. I think they should go on a weekend. If they're using a government vehicle and they're not going to do a public job, they're going to do homecomings, then that is public wastage of money. And that is why I said it is good that President Ruto had the Gen Zs and reshuffled the cabinet. But it's also unfortunate that some of the people that he took there, they'll be his downfall. And I don't want to speak myself into the cabinet positions, and I'm not in their head to speak that. But I can actually be able to project. If you look at 1995, President Moi, may he rest in peace, he tried wooing the Luo Nyanza. It didn't work for him. You know, there were issues. I mean, so even now that the president has tried to do that, I don't think it's going to work for him. These people are going to, by 2027, if they are going to be in government, then I think I need to give up the Mabuzi from Mount Kenya, because I don't think that wedding between the Raila Odinga and the president is going to be there, to be sustained.
Well, Honorable Ruko, what became of austerity measures? You know, at a time that, of course, the new cabinet took office, first of all, with the appointment of the 4 former top ODM officials in what many would consider as a hijacked revolution, deals being cut on the Gen Z blood, with over 60 of them having passed away. Could such homecoming ceremonies perhaps just accord those who are killed by the police at least a decent funeral?
Chacha, have you heard of any Kenya Kwanza minister or senior government official having an homecoming recently?
They're now part of the cabinet, so they are considered as Ruto's cabinet.
I'm just asking a question. I have not heard of any, from where I sit on the side of Kenya Kwanza. But
the president seems to be having keen interest with them. He's been attending them.
Chacha, you know, I will not answer a question the way you want me to answer it. I'll answer your question the way I feel I should answer the question. And by the way, the turning point of this country was June 25th, 2024. You will more often see William Samoei Ruto in office and in different parts of this country, communicating to the people of Kenya what exactly his government is doing. Because there was a breakdown between what the government is implementing, program the government it has, and people understanding that.
So you consider that as communication to the public?
That's why you have seen President William Ruto going around the country and at the same time having town hall meetings. He had a town hall meeting here in Nairobi. Yes, last night he had another town hall
In Kisumu.
in Kisumu. He had a town hall meeting in Coast, in Mombasa. He will continue having many town halls across the country.
So these are not early 2027 campaigns?
No, it is because June 25th of this year, it was a turning point of this country where we almost lost the nation.
Honorable Ruko, if that is the approach, just interject, Honorable Ruko. If that is the approach, the president, of course, is the head of the government.
Yes.
They are cabinet secretaries.
Yes.
The ministries have offices in almost all counties or even districts.
Yes.
Why not allow the systems to just work instead of him being there to run everything? If it matters education, then let it to Julius Ogamba to come out and explain about the new funding model. That's why you give him the job.
We would wish that to happen, but we have a political government, a government which has been put there politically. You know, for you to form the government, you have to be elected. You have to go through a political process. You don't wake up and, you know, it's a political process that makes someone a president. So, in essence, we are forming a government politically. And that process of forming a government, whoever was given that mandate by the people to form the government is the chief communicator of the vision, of the programs, of the policies and the project which are being implemented by his government to the people. At the end of the day, the buck stops at his door. And that person is the president. Even if we have a minister who will go out there and communicate properly. For instance, we have seen Professor Kidiki communicating now and then about the security issues and the measures he's taking across in the country when we have challenges in security docket.
Previously, Honorable Ruko, while you were in this panel, when the president was touring countries,
yes,
remember you said it is really important for him to be there physically.
Yes.
Now, he has not been doing that. Does it mean we're not doing well in terms of our foreign relations?
No, no.
So
next
also,
week, listen,
with the president being a state house and not being in various parts of the country, would that not still work?
Chacha, next week we'll see president going to China. And after he moves from China, we'll see him next week, but one going to Germany.
So his wings are back.
So it's not a question. It's not about it's not about the wings are back. It's about he's the chief diplomat of the nation. He's the president. He needs to be in Nyanza. He needs to be in Coast. He needs to be in Northeastern, communicating the people who elected him, who gave him the mandate to be the president of the Republic of Kenya, to be the symbol of the national unity, to form a government on the programs, on the policies, on the project which are being implemented by his government.
Julia Shege.
Yes.
Chacha, there's a point which I wanted to make. Well, that June 25th was a turning point of this nation. You see more, because for the last 2 years, the president and his government have done a lot in terms of stabilizing this economy. Because the economic situation was much, much worse in terms of inflation, in terms of prices of commodities. May it be prices of unga, may it be prices of fuel, may it be, you know, may it be the price of dollar, you know, the exchange rate between Kenya shillings and dollar. You know, things were not as good for the business people in this country. He went far to stabilize the economy. This was not well communicated to the people.
Well,
okay?
Julia.
So yes. You'll see more of the president who is in the office doing very serious things, as you have seen when he was rousing the bid for Raila Odinga to be the chairman of African Union Commission, and at the same time combining that with town hall meetings, at the same time touring a different corner and seeing what project his government is implementing.
Julia Shege,
yes,
with what Honorable Ruko has just said,
yes, that
the president has to be there himself. He came, of course, into office politically, and there is need to sustain that. Should Kenyans consider these an 2027 early campaigns that have already kick-started? And, you know, usually, could it be an escapism method of not dealing with the real issues? And so you politicize matters so that you don't face the reality. First of all, where the president has so far been touring, it's where he just appointed cabinet secretaries from. The coastal region, of course with Hassan Joho,
Yeah.
and now in Nyanza.
Yeah. I think it is important to note that with all due respect, Mheshimiwa has a job to protect, you know, and he has allegiance to the president, though I know he's a DP member, therefore he should be propagating the vision of the Democratic Party of Kenya, DP. That one I know, that is the ticket he rode on. But nevertheless,
DP is part of Kenya Kwanza, isn't it?
That is not a discussion of this table, because I'm a DP member, I'm not in Kenya Kwanza, so we cannot discuss it here. But the question that, you see now you're making me forget, the question that Chacha has asked me, I do not see the reason as to why the president should be touring this country all over. We have been there when Mwai Kibaki, may he rest in peace, when he was there. He never toured this country. And we had free primary and secondary education. We had work that was ongoing. So what is this that the president is doing? If it is not trying to show people, yes, I've given the CSS jobs and I've come to tell you, nimewapatia kazi, kitu kama hiyo. You know, and we have seen something like that. Now, when Mheshimiwa, you say that business is getting better, I do not know where you are reading, the script that you are reading. Because if you go to EPZ, 3, 4, 5 years ago, you could go to EPZ and try to get, even if it is a store or something. Today, most of the places there is written closed, closed, closed. If that is not raising alarm in this government, then I don't know where they are leading from. Most of the students, they have not gone back to school because the parents cannot be able to afford school fees. The SMEs, actually this government, I don't think their interest is to bring up the SME, is to kill them because of the many licenses, the many protocols that a young person, as much as we are saying that young people need to get into SME, they cannot be able to do it because you go for trademark, you go to KEBS, you go to KEMSA, you go to wherever, all those, there is a lot of money for you to be able to start a manufacturing company. Like if you don't have like 300,000-400,000, you cannot be able to do that in a good way, not unless you want to be a street vendor, you know. And if we want our graduates to actually venture into cottage industries, then the government must relook into the issues of empowerment. How do they help these young people? Mheshimiwa, you have to let me finish.
Let me give you facts.
No,
I want to give you facts about the economy.
No, you read the
facts.
No,
the businesses.
No, it is okay.
And this has been there.
Mheshimiwa, you cannot do that.
I'll give you time to.
Yes, I will be given time.
No, she's saying I have a job to protect.
Yes,
the only job I have is to serve the people of
Bere. I know that, but now
you clarify.
Mheshimiwa, can you let me finish?
You know, you
no,
can't.
Can you let me finish?
No.
If you don't let me finish, we will not continue. No. You have to let me finish. You have to. You see, that is why the truth that Jey Ruto cannot even pass. You see the way he is raising his voice here on a national TV. What I'm trying to say, what is on the ground is we have no young people starting businesses because the taxes, the licenses, they are too high. You cannot be able to start as a young person, and not most of the families that can be able to give lump sum for young people to start.
At that juncture, we take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll be reviewing, even as there is a display of opulence, teachers are on the streets. Students are home. This is the third term, crucial term. We take a short commercial break. We'll be back with that conversation. Stay tuned.
A posh rabbit house, and there are many other animals in this particular farm, and that's why this week on Kilimo na Biashara we're going to focus on animal rearing.